Ruto will not be president forever. He's a mortal. Even if he suspended the constitution and began ruling, at one point he will have to go. Even if just natural attrition, at some point all of us will have to exit.
Yes.
Anyway. Yes. What's the point? I had President Moi at State House. I had him telling us, we had visited him. Hii town huwezi lala. Hii State House huwezi lala. Kama wajaluo naruka huko town. I mean, he used it, that's the language he used.
Yes.
Because those are the guys who used to riot properly. But in sense it means no president can pretend to sleep unless you are not a human being.
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. I'm Jadil Kabiru. So glad that you always take your time to listen to these conversations to help build policy and politics here in Kenya. I'm at 1442 Kusini, Sore Road, South B. Once again, much appreciation to you that came for our open day, and we're telling you apartments are still here. One bedroom going for 5.7 million and 7.7 million for 2 bedrooms right here at Sore Road, South B. You can check the videos on your screen right now. You can see how big, how beautiful these apartments are. You can call the number on your screen to get yourself an apartment where you can invest or rent or live here in South B. I'm here with Prof. Manyora. Great to see you. How are you doing today?
Good.
Conversation in the country is about Raila Amolo Odinga. Says we need this intergenerational conclave.
Yes.
You know, these protests have gone too far, he says.
Correct.
Something has to happen. Do you believe it's dialogue the way out?
Dialogue, talking, anytime, any place. Anytime, any place. People have to talk. People have to talk. Sometimes people fight just because they don't know each other. When you sit down to talk, you wonder why. I wish I knew this. People are not as bad as we always think. And things aren't always what they look like. When you think things are very bad, sometimes when you sit down with your brother, you realize they are not as bad. So talking is okay. And more so intergenerational. Surely, our children and our grandchildren are seeing the world from a completely different perspective. So we are seeing a different world, they are seeing another different world. We have to make them see the world we are seeing. And they will also make us see the world they are seeing. There will be some convergence. So intergenerational. I agree with Raila.
What is there to talk about, some would say? The agenda is clear. We just want the right thing to happen.
Yes.
The second agenda is Ruto must go. What is there to talk about when young people are saying politicians do the right thing, William Ruto be one term? Just leave.
You know, perhaps during this conversation, we shall find out why even good people, when they become president, they can't work. We had so much hope in Moi, those who don't know. When Moi took over power in 1978, I was there, I was a young man. And he was really celebrated. For those who may not know it, Kikuyuism had gone to extremes in this country. Kenyatta had put powerful provincial commissioners across the country. There was Madenge in Rift Valley. There was Mahihu at the coast. There was Mburu in the western, and so on and so forth. Kenyatta was ruling through the provincial administration. Something now Moi came to change and rule it through Kanu, but that's beside the point. What am I trying to say? The Gikuyus had been so entrenched that when Moi took over, there are many people who were happy. This is the truth. This is our history. You can't run away from it. The same Moi, people celebrated, including Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. He was happy when Moi took over.
Everyone was celebrating.
Yes.
Someone else is in
So
power.
what happened that Moi could not then change and became a bad man the way people say? Let's leave Moi aside, because when you talk of Moi, people say, Moi was bad. But Kibaki, everybody thought now Kenya had arrived. But the same Kibaki changed. Given a chance to bury tribalism, he abandoned the MOU. He betrayed Raila Odinga. Kenya had a chance to bury tribalism once and for all. It didn't happen. Moi had left power in broad daylight, handed to Kibaki, even under humiliating circumstances. But Kibaki found it hard to accept defeat.
2007.
Yeah. And we almost lost the country. Then we thought we had young leaders, Uhuru and Ruto. So many people gave them the power in 2013, but they became a disappointment. In 2022, a man came on the scene and said, you people, small people, wheelbarrow pushers, mkokoteni pushers, mama mbogas, boda boda, all of you now, at least your prayers have been answered. You are going to get one of you in State House. All of us are now crying. There must be something fundamentally wrong with the system. So unless you fix that system, even if you say Ruto must go, he will go. Ruto will not be president forever. He's a mortal. Even if he suspended the constitution and began ruling, at one point he will have to go. Even if just natural attrition, at some point all of us will have to exit.
Yes.
Anyway. Yes. So if Ruto went in 2027 or now or 2032, and you put in somebody, unless you change certain things that are so fundamental, the same person who takes off from Ruto may not achieve anything. And I think, therefore, the call for a conversation is a good one. And I've said this many times, on this channel.
Yes.
I've said what this country requires. Raila is just echoing what I've been saying for a long time. This country requires a national conversation. A national conversation, honest national conversation, with one question on the table. Why are we doing so badly? Why are we not where we should be? And for now, these are small things now happening, other things. Why are our children in the streets? Why are we killing our own children? Why are we fighting? Why are we doing things in a way we can lose this country tomorrow? That question must be answered. Raila can call it a conclave.
Which is a private meeting.
Other people will call it a convention.
Yes.
You can call it any name you want, but the truth remains, whether we do it today or not, at one time we shall sit down.
Can we sit down
and talk? It does not matter when.
Yes.
Unfortunately, before you ask, unfortunately, by the time we sit down, like all foolish people in history, because there are people who have said, some people have described history as a record of man's folly. That's what history is to some people. The stupid things man has done. Because after you have killed millions of people, then you sit down and talk. Why didn't you sit down and talk before you went to kill people in a stupid, senseless war? So now we can sit down and talk. Or we wait until so many stupid things have happened, so many lives have been lost, then we sit down and talk.
I wonder, who should we sit down with? There are some who argue, Cyprian was here, you taught him at the university.
Yes.
He told us,
sharp students,
let's have a transitional government first. Because how can we have this conversation with President Ruto, who just yesterday says, we shoot on their legs, wapitia hospitali, alafu kotini. How can we have a conversation with such a person?
All talks on serious issues, when people are fighting, either really fighting or fighting in the manner we are fighting, opponents in a fierce, whatever, disagreement. All those are issues that are thorny, things that are thrashed before people begin to talk. Conditions for talk. If we talk, so and so should not be chair. If we talk, the president must first always stop being president. People start there. So who is a Cyprian?
Yes.
It's normal. That's where everybody starts. I'm a trained negotiator, I know. Yeah.
So we'll start.
People start somewhere. Oh, if we come, Ruto should just come as another Kenyan. Oh, it all starts there. But finally, those things are settled, and people sit down and talk. So when people like Cyprian and the rest begin to question, we are on the right track. What is the talk about? What is there to talk about? Who will be there? Who will choose those who will be there? Those are normal questions. Why can't Ruto stop being president? We have a transitional government. All those things will be there. But finally, sense and reason will prevail and people sit down and talk.
As an analyst, you look at Ruto, the president.
Yes.
Do you think he's ready for this conversation if we were to have it? Do you think he's ready for this conversation if we are seeing police officers brutalizing young people? You listen to him, how he's speaking about the Gen Z protesters. And of course, every protest must have some damage. Most protests do. Do you think he's ready to listen to young people?
He may not be as ready as you want him to be ready, but finally he'll be ready. Same Ruto has said he can never share his government with anybody, he can never talk to Raila, but he's with Raila now. So I have faith in human beings. I think President Ruto will see sense in sitting down to talk. What is easier, for the country to sit down and talk, or for children to keep roaming rioting in the streets? Which is better?
To talk, obviously.
And if those riots are ending up in senseless killings of our own children, and the president not having very nice sleep, what's the point? I had President Moi at State House. I had him telling us, we had visited him. Hii town huwezi lala, hii State House huwezi lala. Kama wajaluo wanaruka huko town. I mean, he used that's the language he used.
Yes.
Because those are the guys who used to riot properly. But in sense, it means no president can pretend to sleep unless you are not a human being. No president can pretend to eat well, take his dinner and go to bed and snore when Gen Zs are roaming the streets and goons are terrorizing people. You can't sleep unless you are not a human being. So a human being will see, if this offers me an opportunity for us to behave like human beings and civilized people, to sit down and talk about the country, why would the president stand in the way of such a noble idea?
Finally, the question is, who is this conclave going to accommodate? Because the Gen Z are leaderless. Some call them radarless. Who is there to talk for the Gen Zs? Do you think that can happen?
At Serena, Raila said something, and for the first time, I thought he can also be serious. They are never serious. The problem with these people, to answer your question, is even when such a serious opportunity presents itself, you ask them to send people there, they send the same suspects.
Yeah.
Same crooks.
Big question.
But he said something which now answers your question. It will be a meeting of the best minds this country has. And if that be the case, putting together a team of intelligent Kenyans may not be as difficult as you say. Because it must begin somewhere. First, Raila must convince Ruto that that's the way to go. Once Ruto buys into the idea, they must select 3 or 4 or 5 people who can talk to those parties that will dismiss this idea. I'm sure people like Kalonzo will dismiss the idea outright. There are many quarters you need, people you need, including the Gen Zs, will not trust this process. And the government, if they are not sincere, will try to get into Gen Z and choose people from Gen Z.
Yes.
So the beginning, like Raila said, the best minds, you get like 3, 4, 5 people. An exploratory team. An exploratory team. To look at this idea and try to crystallize certain things. How can it work? Reach out to various people, various sectors, Gen Zs, and within Gen Zs, there are also different, you look at the church, the religious organizations, you look at political leadership, you look at youth, you look at all these. That explorative team can create some sort of understanding. And the next stage then will be that these people can bring on board, with the help of this small team, the sort of people you need for that conclave.
Can you handle that task?
I can do it very well. If I'm given that task, I'll do it very well. I'll also advise the president, because this thing cannot work without the president coming up with executive action.
No.
Because there are also certain things the president must begin doing to convince people that he's serious. So it requires a person who can sit down with the president and Raila Odinga and talk to them honestly. I think I'm the sort of person who can sit with President Ruto, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and we have a discussion, we have a conversation.
Well, thanks for tuning into that conversation. I'm here at 1442 Kusini. We are here courtesy of them, and we are telling you apartments are here. 7.7 million for 2 bedrooms, 5.7 million for 1 bedrooms. And remember, the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company can help you finance your purchase of these apartments. If you have like a small salary and you're thinking, well, they can offer you 105% with rates of 10%, which are stable. You usually say stable means...
Yeah, it means
Yeah.
it doesn't change during the period you have been given, 15 years, 20 years. With the banks, to keep changing. You can start at 14 and end up at 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're there and you have a salary and you're thinking, can I afford this apartment? And if you're there and you have some money somewhere and you're thinking, how can I invest this money? This is South B. People will obviously rent here. You can make it a B&B too. That's a trending, business here in Kenya. And come here, check 1442 Kusini here at Sore Road, South B. Goodbye for now.